This lesson covers everything you need to know about using the Maps app, and it includes the map interface, turn-by-turn navigation, creating bookmarks, integrating Siri and 3D maps. Now, there are some settings to do with maps. So if you go into the Settings app and scroll down till you find Maps, and you have three things to change. For navigation voice volume, if you have it as loud, then if you're going to use turn-by-turn directions and you're using Siri, for example, to navigate for you, then you need it loud. But you can change the volume, miles or kilometres in the distances, and map labels. The other thing you need to do is to enter your home address as a contact. If you were trying to find a way to get home from a restaurant in the middle of the city, many kilometres away, set up the directions using home as the destination, and because it knows where home is, it can plot that out. So open contacts. I'm going to use Spotlight to search for it. And if you haven't got an entry for yourself, then use the plus to add one. Let's open my entry and then edit. Now, in your contacts entry, you can put all sorts of information: addresses, email, websites, birthdays, social media. So I'm going to tap edit, and then I'm going to add an address down at the bottom there. And the more information you put in, the more it can help you in certain apps to find you or use your information to help with whatever the app is. Tap done when you're finished. At this stage, I just want to have the address so that Maps can use that when I'm plotting a route. So let's go to Maps. And when you open Maps, you're usually confronted with the plain view, if you like, and the blue dot is your current location. Now I can pinch and zoom and go in and out and go in closer into the different locations, but there is a better view. So if you tap the eye and tap the hybrid, you'll actually get a combination of satellite view, standard view. It gives you the names of the towns, the countries, major roads. And if I scroll out, I actually get the globe. And if I rotate that, I'm going to get the time zones as well. So at this time of day, the northern hemisphere is in darkness. And so you can keep going to see where you are. And so darkness is approaching now. It's for me, it's 5 o'clock in the evening. So darkness is approaching Australia. Now, tap pinch and zoom to go into your location. If you want to do a quicker way of getting to your location, well, I can keep pinching and zooming, and it's going to take a while before it finally gets to the level of detail that I want. In the bottom left, if you tap that button, that takes you straight to your current location. And then I can zoom in and out to getting closer to it. Now, the other information in the eye, you can have a satellite image, which is the satellite without the information, so no names of streets, countries, etc. So I prefer the hybrid. You can have a 3D version, which sort of makes things in a three-dimensional way. So when you're going over buildings, I'm zooming into some buildings here, and you've sort of got to wait as you pinch and zoom for the map to load. So as I go in closer, I can sort of see the buildings in the 3D view. So make sure I'm in the 3D view. With two fingers, I can rotate. I can sort of see from different angles, move them around, going closer. 2D view, it's just a bit flatter. You still can rotate. So I'll keep it on 3D and zoom back out. If you want to search for a place, you go into search or enter an address, and I just want to look for a park. So I'm going to type in a park, and it gives me possible suggestions, so I can scroll up and down to see if any of those are relevant. If they're not, I'd tap search, but this one actually is relevant. So I can tap that where it will take me to that place and drop a pin. And some places it actually has reviews on Yelp. So if I tap that, there's an arrow there. I've got some information about the Gels Park. I've got some pictures. I've got reviews. Got more information. I can add it as a contact. So I could create a new contact and add Gels Park into my contact. So if I do create new contact and just call it Gels Park, and it's putting in the phone number, and then I can, and the home page and the address, and I can add other things if I want to, and tap done. And I can zoom in and see a little bit further in there. And that's the entrance to the park. Can't move the pin. The only way I can delete that pin is to delete the search reference at the top there. So tapping across will delete the pin and delete that search. But if I go back in, it's going to be part of my recents. If I want to keep that, I can tap it again, and this time go up to share and add it to favorites and save. So when I come back up here, I'll delete that search, come back and search another time, it's already there as a favorite. And you can have recents and you can have contacts. So if I wanted to find out how to get to somebody's house, and anything in the bold has an email address. Those entries that are greyed out do not have addresses, they just have email addresses or phone numbers. So I can pick here the doctor's surgery. It has a address and it drops a pin there, and then I can get directions to it. So if I tap that, I can ring it because it'll give me the phone number with a phone. So if I've got an iPhone, I can ring it. If I want directions, I can get directions to there from my current location. So if I tap that one, it's going to give me directions from my current location to that doctor's surgery and give me the route. If I want directions back from there, then I would tap the other one, directions from here. So maybe that's my starting point, and where am I going to end up? If it was home, I could tap home because it knows where home is, and it plots the route. So here, where the red pin is where that doctor surgery is, and then it gives me the directions to go home. There's 3 ways I can do this one, which takes 6 minutes. Another way will take 7 minutes, and this way will take 25 minutes. So it gives you different routes that you can take. The other thing up there, so these are driving directions. It'll give me walking directions if I tap this one. That tells you at the bottom how long it takes to walk, 25 minutes. The apps one, if you tap that one, then any apps that I have installed already, it's going to give me another possible route. So maybe there's a bus. So if I tap routes and I have this app installed, it's the Public Transport Victoria app, then there are buses that will also take me from where I'm starting to the end result, to the destination. And if I haven't got any apps, then it gives me a selection of possible apps, so largely buses and trams and trains. So if I want to go from my current location and I want to go to a restaurant, so search for a restaurant that I know is a fair way away and it's in the city, so I want to go here. So it drops a pin at that location. It gives me the total time, 34 minutes. It gives me some reviews of that restaurant also. So it can give me all sorts of information, pictures, reviews, so a lot of different information. I can add it as contact. I can ring them and make a reservation. I can go to their homepage. I can get directions to there by tapping directions, starting at the current location, ending at South Bank, and then plot the route. And it'll give you all possible routes. So there's 3 there. The one that they give you is generally the shortest time, so it's 34 minutes. There's another one here, 44 minutes, and there's another one over here, 45 minutes, depending on your time of day and traffic. Now you notice that on this map we've got some yellow. On some of the major roads we've got some red, and that's the traffic conditions. And in the eye, you can hide the traffic or show the traffic. So I can go back to the route. So the green pin is where our current location is. The red is where I want to go. And if I want directions, driving, I simply tap Start. So it gives you turn-by-turn directions. So as you're driving, it's going to change the directions and guide you. And this is useful if you've got an iPad that's a 4G iPad and has a GPS, because you can see yourself on the map travelling, and it will tell you where to change. If you haven't got one of those, then what you need is a list of steps. So I can go into list the steps, and it will give me the directions to get to that end destination without looking at the turn by turn. And then go back to overview, which will give you the route, which you can follow yourself. So if you didn't want turn by turn directions, you could just follow yourself on the map if you had the 4G version. As you're driving, you can just keep zooming in, and you can follow yourself and see where you're going, so you don't take any wrong turns. Now, the other thing, if you go into certainly larger towns, go into Melbourne, and as I zoom in, there's all sorts of information that you're given. But the more I zoom in, the more icons are appearing. So you have the purple with the, getting as close as I can. So you've got some things with a knife and fork, which are cafes and restaurants. Anything with a little shopping bag is a shop. Anything with the purple is the Yelp reviews, which is a hotel in this case. You've got the cup of coffee, which are cafes and restaurants. The road conditions, the men at work will tell me where there's road work. Shopping trolley, so supermarkets. P for parking, so public parking. The little bed for the hotels. So if you're just looking at this map, you can see in the city centre where there's a whole heap of information and features that you might need to know about. To add this to my favourites, I have to tap Share and add it to the favourites. So now it's in favourites, and I can edit the favourites and move them or reorder them. I can see my recents, I can clear them, and I've got my contacts. Now you can also get Siri to navigate you. So if I hold down Siri, give me directions to Gels Park.
Getting directions to Gels Park, home.
So if you're using your iPad as a GPS and you've got it in the car, then instead of you having to look at all the steps, you can just have Siri navigate it for you. If you want to clear one, just tap the cross there and clear that. I can also move it around with my fingers. I can just move it around for different orientation. You can see up the top right, I'm moving the north. And if you want to go back to true north, you just tap that. So generally this is the direction of north where I'm looking at now. Taking and tapping the bottom left will take you back to your current location. Zooming in and out. Now you can drop a pin. So I dropped the pin there accidentally. I'm going to remove the pin. So if I'm looking for something, I'm just looking for a particular shop or street, and I find it on the map. So I need to go to this oval. I can tap that, tap it, zoom in on it, tap the eye, and drop a pin. And so wherever I happen to be, it'll drop that pin, and then I can get the directions. To remove it, tap the pin, and open the pin and remove it. You can also get directions to contacts. So if I look for favourites, and I'm going to contacts, and then anyone that has a bold black entry has an address. Anything that's greyed out is just a phone number and an email. So if I want to get directions to the doctor's surgery, I can tap this and open that, and then I have directions to the doctor from where I am. I can also ring because I've got a phone. So in this lesson, we'll look at the Maps app and all of the various features and things that you can do with Maps.